Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be releasing a brand new mod. Now this is a mod that I've been working on for quite some time, and it's a bit different to what we have done in the past. Now this mod is going to add quality of life features to the game, but it's going to do it in smaller updates that are just spread out whenever we have enough features. So there's going to be no scheduled release for this, and it will release just whenever we have enough for an update to release. Now we are starting off in NeoForge 1.21.5, and this is just as a beta version to see what you guys think of the mod, and also to get some feedback on the features that are included in version 1. Now the first feature comes with axolotl buckets. Inside of the vanilla game, if you was to pick up an axolotl in a bucket, no matter the variant, it will always show as the pink variant. Well, that is changed within this mod. If we quickly just spawn a few axolotls, you can see picking this one up right here now shows the correct variant within the bucket. Then if we was to spawn, that's a pink one, we have the blue one again. The yellow one, if I was to pick this one up, you can see it's the yellow variant. And it's the same for all of them. We also have the brown variant. And then we do also have the rare blue variant, which you can see right here. And this is just a quality of life thing, which I think should be in the base game, because it means that you know the exact variant that is within the bucket without needing to place it down and have a look at it. Now these axolotl buckets are not in the creative inventory by default, so the only way to get them is by picking up that variant. Now that is the first feature within this, but before we jump to the second feature, I quickly just want to talk about a new thing that we'll be doing for this mod. When you go to create a new world, there is the experimental options. Well, we have added a new option within this, and that is community suggestions. Now this has to be enabled, but by default it will be off. And this is just for if you guys suggest something that maybe don't fit with the quality of life vanilla features, we can still add it. And then you guys can choose whether you want these features on or off when you make your world. Now this will be enabled in the first update, but there is currently nothing locked behind this, so enabling it won't give you any new features. Now every update will be adding around 2 to 3 features that are suggested by you guys into this toggle. So if you have any features, do suggest them in the comments. Now the second feature we're going to cover is once again optional, and this is a resource pack. When you load this mod, there is a built-in resource pack called 3D items. This will be disabled by default, so if we quickly just have a look in the functional tab, you can see, for example, the cauldron is a icon. But if we was to enable this, let's quickly now just go back to the functional tab, you will be able to see that the cauldron is now 3D, like every other block within the game. Now this affects cauldrons, it also affects brewing stands, it affects the soul campfire and normal campfire, and then it also affects the 2 lanterns. In future updates we will expand upon this, adding more items into this to make them 3D, but we thought we would just have a start. Now we have made this optional, so you can enable this or disable this if you don't like it or if you do like it. And once again, you enable it and disable it within the resource packs. Now if you do enable it and it doesn't work, that is just because you need to make sure it is above the default and mod resources. Now the third feature, which I think a lot of people are going to like, paintings. Paintings now have a unique texture depending on the variant. We have a few different styles, so for example you can see the shape of this painting is different to the shape of this one, and that is just because it's a different size. Now every single painting has a texture based on the type of painting. Some of them are easier to tell than others, that is just because you are very limited with the space you can work with. But alongside this is obviously only useful for creative mode. But we have made this useful in survival mode as well, and that is with the addition of a painting table. It has the same model as a lectern with a different texture, but clicking on this, it opens up a GUI. Now we can see all the different paintings listed right here, and when you hover over them it will show you the name, the author, the width and the height. But let's say you want to see how one looks when you place it within the world. So let's say we want to see how wind looks. We can click on this and you can see it renders to the side right here. It does also show you the area, that is how many blocks it covers. So this is a 2x2, so it covers 4 blocks. So let's just grab the normal variant that you can craft inside of survival mode. You can throw these in the top slot, and then clicking on a variant, so let's just say we want to craft up this painting right here. You can see it transfers that variant to the bottom here. and then I can craft this up. It shrinks the top one, and now whenever I place this painting down, it will always be this variant. Now one thing to note, when you break them, they transfer back to the normal painting. So that is just something that you need to remember when you place them. If you break them again, you will need to make them back into the correct version in the painting table. That is something we might look into fixing in the next update. But this is a really good table because you can see what the paintings look like, so you can obviously have a look at what one you want before you craft them, and then you can take any variant without the need to sit there spamming the paintings until you get the one you want. And it does also render the name and the author if that is something you obviously want to learn. Now the crafting recipe for the painting table is like so. It uses 4 slabs and then also a painting. Now the next 2 features I want to cover are features that I have made different mods for, and to limit how many mods we have got that we need to update, I have ported them into this mod. The first one is the game rule for Warden's Sonic Boom. So if I do /game rule and can Warden Sonic Boom, this will be true or false. By default it will be set to true, but you can disable this, and by disabling this, the Warden won't be able to use its Sonic Boom attack. Now this is both on players and other mobs, so if I quickly just spawn the Warden and then build up so it cannot attack me, and then I grab myself some snowballs. Now the Warden will not be able to use its Sonic Boom attack on me, and it will now just stand there forever without being able to hit me. Now this does make the Wardens very cheesable, because I can now just stand up here hitting the Warden and it would never be able to react. But I know a lot of people don't like Sonic Boom in the game, so this is a way to disable it. Now this was its own separate mod, and we've just ported it into this mod to make it a lot easier for us to update in the future. And you can see by now the Warden would have Sonic Boom me, and it can't because it is disabled. If I was to quickly just enable this again, you can see it instantly tries to Sonic Boom me. Now the second feature we have ported into this mod is tool bags. Once again, this was its own separate mod, and we have just moved them into this mod to make it easier. Tool bags are an item that can hold up to 4 non-stackable items, so things like tools, potions, armor, things like that. So you can see this one right here has the 4 items inside. We can scroll between them and take out whatever item we want, and it does also show us a tooltip of what item we are hovering. Now just like the bundles, these can be dyed into every single colour in the game. All of them work exactly the same, so they can hold up to 4 non-stackable items. Now the crafting recipe for these is like so. It is a rabbit hide and then a piece of string, and then they can be dyed just by putting in a tool bag with then any piece of dye. And I really do like these. These can be considered as overpowered because you can put things like enchantment books inside of them as well as potions, but they're also very useful to stop inventory clutter. Now my favourite feature within this first update is a lot more dispenser functions. Now the first thing that they can do, they now have interactions with cauldrons. So if I was to put a lava bucket inside of this dispenser and it was facing into a cauldron, we can now dispense the lava into the cauldron and you can see the bucket is left. If we was to power it with an empty bucket, you can see the lava will be taken. This is the same for powdered snow cauldrons, so let's quickly just show that. There we go. And once again, you can take it. And then also water cauldrons. So once again, dispensing the water in, you can see it will turn it into a water cauldron. And then once again, taking the water out. This is a feature that is a shame that it's not within the base game, because it would be very useful. The second new function for dispensers is iron ingots. If an iron ingot is within a dispenser and there is an iron golem within a block of the dispenser's front face, you will be able to see that we can heal the iron golem. So if I was to quickly just power it, you can see one of them gets consumed and the iron golem is repaired. So let's quickly just show this again. If I was to power it, you can see the iron golem is slowly being repaired. So this can now be done with dispensers. It no longer requires a player to do it. And if the iron golem is at full health, the dispenser won't activate, so you will not lose the iron. Now the third new function to dispensers is with axes. So if there is an axe inside a dispenser, you can now place copper in front of it to first off de-wax it. So if it is waxed and I place that in front, but if it is already waxed, you can now also take off some of the oxidation stages. So if I quickly just power it again, you can see it goes from the oxide stage to the weathered stage. Once again, it now goes down to the exposed, and then powering it a final time will make it go down to the block of copper. This does consume durability, and this just goes with being able to wax copper. You can now also do it the other way around with the axes. Now, another new function for dispensers is with minecarts, and that is the fact that minecarts can now be converted into the variants using the blocks. If the minecart is in front of the dispenser and I was to throw, for example, a chest inside there, powering this will turn it into a chest minecart. Now, if we quickly just move this out of the way, once again, if I was to power it again, it wouldn't consume any items because there is no minecarts in front. Now, if I was inside of here and I tried to power it, you can see it does fail because there is a player riding it. Now, this is the same for all of them, so if I quickly just replace the chests with furnaces, it turns it into a furnace minecart. Then if we was to quickly just replace furnaces with a hopper, it turns it into a hopper minecart. And then also TNT will turn it into a TNT minecart. Now, the final feature within this first update is a new item, and this is the magnet. It is crafted like so, with 5 iron and 2 redstone. And then upon taking this, you can see it has a pickup range of 8. Now, the default is always 8, that will never change. Now, you can change the pickup range with commands if you do want to. I can enter in a new item component, which you can see is magnet attract range. Now, I can set this in to, for example, 128. And you can see the range of this is 128. Now, by default, the magnet will be disabled, meaning that it won't pick up any items. So you can see if I throw these on the ground, they will not be picked up. But if I was to right click it, you can see the top of the texture gets powered and it is now enabled, meaning that all items will be attracted to me and I will pick them up straight into my inventory. If your inventory is full, the items will be pulled towards you, but they will not be picked up. And the pickup range of 8 is 8 blocks. If I was now to enable this, all the items get pulled towards me, and there is a chance it can take durability damage. Now, it has like a 1 in 100 when it picks up a item or item stack to lose 1 durability. Now, by default, they will only pick up items, but there is an enchantment called Experienced. And this can be gotten from fishing or villager trades. This now means that experience orbs will be attracted to me just like XP can. Now, it seems like there is a bug at the moment where they are attracted to me even if the magnet is disabled. That is a bug that I will fix, but that is the first update for this mod. Now, it is called MO Features. That might change when I publish the mod, because if you are unaware, we do already have a mod called MO Features. And to begin with, this was meant to be a revamped version of that mod, but I'm currently debating whether to change my mind and name this mod something completely different. So I will have the name of the mod in the title of the YouTube video when I do decide, or it might be in the comments or download page. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this update in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought of the mod in general. And also, if you have a suggestion for the community suggestions experimental toggle, do let me know, and I'll be looking into adding some of them for the next update. If you enjoyed, do like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in another one very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!